Hey guys, Ramsey here. Welcome to another video. Tonight, we've got an early impression on a sample that has been sitting in my wardrobe for the past couple years. And I'm trying to run through these samples because I'm starting to feel a little bit overwhelmed. I've got all these samples. I'm never going to wear this as a scent of the day. This will literally sit here until either, my wife, while she's cleaning, comes along and just throws it away, or or it just gets passed on to whoever inherits my fragrance collection in 50 years, because I would never wear this as my scent of the day. First of all, a quick rant. By the way, this is an early impression on Bleu de Chanel Parfum, in case you couldn't see that while I was kind of waving it around talking. What the hell is this? Does anyone know what this is? Look at this. So they're telling us that we lift this little tab and we squeeze the damn thing to spray. And do you see how much juice they gave us in this sample? That says 0.3 mils. Not even 1 mil. Chanel, I mean, it is just, I'm a stickler for samples. I'm upset when they don't even give me a sample with a cap. And then I get this, which this just really, first of all, puts me in a foul mood. And then the fragrance itself puts me in an even more foul mood because it is so empty. It is so devoid of life. It's empty like the industry that this is like one of the leading sellers for Chanel. And the original Bleu de Chanel came out in 2010. And the father, Jacques Polge, came out with it. He basically founded a new genre of fragrance and then retired. I mean, how's that for just, legend? He founded this new genre, this blue genre, and then he retired. And Rich Mitch, my good friend from across the pond, my fragrance BFF, says you only need one blue fragrance in your collection. And I completely agree with him. And what I ended up going with is Sauvage Parfum. If I had to make a choice right this second, I would probably go for the Elixir. But honestly, they both scratch the same itch. I mean, whenever I wear this, I mean, you can see there's almost a completely full bottle. I don't know how much this is. How much is this bottle here? Sauvage Parfum, 60 mils. Okay, so it's the same as the Elixir. But it's the Parfum version. And the reason that I went for the Parfum is I basically felt like there were a little bit more going on with the Parfum in the sense that you got these little hints of LME, and you got these little hints of it just felt a little bit more grown up. You didn't get this huge throw from the eau de toilette Ambroxan of Sauvage. You get this like giant throw from the Ambroxan. That's the best way I can describe it. It's like the Ambroxan throw. Everyone in a 1,000-mile radius can smell you. Like you're in a nuclear apocalypse and everyone has to know you're coming through their hazmat suits. That kind of vibe. The Parfum has it turned down a little bit. You still get that peppery Ambroxan vibe, that blue vibe, if you will, with the Parfum. But the musks smell high quality. The LME feels like it's Demachy's work. That kind of stuff. Sichuan pepper and all the crap that's in Sauvage. I've smelled Bleu de Chanel eau de toilette. Or maybe it was the eau de parfum. One of those. They're so similar, it doesn't even matter, honestly. And I can tell you the thing that I like the most about it is that the eau de toilette / eau de parfum, we'll say, because I don't want to lie to you guys. I don't remember which one it was, but it was one of those. Had this incense, this wispy incense that kind of traveled through. So you got this grapefruit, this incense. You still got that disgusting blue feel, but at least there were some remnants of, life on the planet, right? With Bleu de Chanel Parfum, or Bleu de Chanel, this is the face I make when I smell it. It's like, bleh. With Bleu de Chanel Parfum, you get what they call cedarwood, which is probably the biggest dollop of ISOE super you've ever imagined. New Caledonian sandalwood, which is that, pokey, almost like, almost like punchy sandalwood. All right, that's the word that Russian Adam uses to describe it, and I agree with him. It's a punchy sandalwood. It's not normal smelling. Like the other day, go watch my early impression on Aries Ladore's Santal Galore. That uses real Mysore sandalwood, and it was one of the most beautiful sandalwood experiences I've ever smelled in a fragrance. This is the complete opposite of that. That beautiful, custardy, smooth sandalwood. This is the exact opposite. This is punchy. It'll poke you. It's almost like irritating. Like it's irritating my nose right now. And first of all, I barely got any on because of the stupid sample, so I'm already pissed. And then you get to the scent. And Bleu de Chanel Parfum is just a perfect example of everything that's wrong with the fragrance community today. This is empty. That's the best word. Just like the pouch is empty. Look at that. Hardly anything comes out when you press the damn trigger on this thing. It's so frustrating. I hate this. Just like this is empty, the fragrance feels empty. All right? The fragrance feels like it's devoid of any feeling. My favorite fragrances, like my scent of the day today, was Guerlain's Heritage from 1992. This, one of the greatest masculines ever created. This has so many transitions, so many intricacies, so many details. It never feels boring. It never feels dated. I could wear this to meet the CEO of my company, and I could wear this around the house lounging on a Sunday like I did today in a t-shirt. It's so just perfect for who I am. Bleu de Chanel reminds me of everything that I hate in modern perfumery. I mean, literally, it makes me angry. It has this, yes, it has this citrus, grapefruit vibe, if you want to call it that, but it smells like probably the most synthetic citrus grapefruit you've ever smelled, like a grapefruit from Mars. And it has what they call lavender and geranium. Everything in the fragrance feels completely fake. And then the heart is what they call cedarwood, which again is probably the biggest dollop of ISOE super you could ever imagine. And a base of sandalwood, New Caledonian sandalwood, if that's what they want to call it. That punchy sandalwood that bothers my nose, It doesn't tickle it in the good way. It tickles it in the way that almost, if you go watch my video on Santal Galore, I said that the Mysore sandalwood almost like puts me at ease. It's almost like this extremely calming effect. You spray that on and you're just like, oh, like all the stress just completely melts away, right? This is the exact opposite. This adds stress when I smell this to my brain. It just, I would say Chanel, snap out of it and get rid of this and discontinue this or do something else. But I understand it's all about the sales. And so they have to have this so they can continue to do the stuff with their exclusives line. I mean, they came out with Le Lion, and that's one of the best fragrances, I think, of the last couple years. And, I own a bottle of Coromandel. I like that fragrance. I like the Patchouli Coromandel. Bois d'Azil. I have the Eau de Toilette, which is discontinued, but that's one of my favorite sandalwoods from a designer house. So it's in Chanel. It's in their DNA. They can do it. They don't have to put out crap like this, but they're chasing the dollars. And they're going after the trend. The blue trend was set by Chanel, and now it's almost like they're stuck. They're stuck in a they're stuck in a tranche or a hole of their own making, and they can't get out. And these companies are just going to flanker these to death. And, the fragrance industry, with every flanker of another blue fragrance, it just dies inside. And then you've got brands like Roja Dove, who will release Elysium extrait for $500, and they're basically copying Bleu de Chanel. I want to review this, or at least talk about it, do an early impression. I have enough juice to make it my scent of the day one day, and so I at least want to talk about this. This was sent to me by a subscriber many, many months ago, maybe even 6 months ago. His name is DL Qualia. Thank you very much, my friend. I have not forgot about the decant you sent me. Sent me a lot of stuff has come my way very quickly, and I haven't been able to go through everything. Hence, I'm going to start doing these quick nighttime videos on stuff like this that's just been sitting on my shelf forever, and I'll never get to it if I don't hurry up and do something about it. I at least want to put my thoughts out there. If you're a fragrance lover, my guess is that your thoughts are the same as mine. I mean, I would be very hard pressed to imagine somebody who loves fragrance, who truly loves fragrance for the art of fragrance, liking this. It's the antithesis of everything a fragrance lover loves. You know, it's most people like fragrance because of the way it makes them feel, or because it has this ability to transport them back to a moment in time. If they're being transported 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, I guarantee you the smells weren't like this, weren't this sterile, almost, George Carlin has a skit that he does. If you've never seen it, he talks about how in World War I, the term that they used to use for soldiers was shell shock. He said, the language back then, when a soldier reached that breaking point in battle, was shell shock. And he tells it way better than I ever could, but he basically talks about how language changed over the decades. Shell shock became operational exhaustion, which sounds like something that would happen to your car, he said, which I totally agree with. It sounds like something that is in like a user manual for a machine. And then it became, after shell shock, it became something else. And then it ultimately became post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. The jargon, all of the pain is hidden behind that jargon that society has created. This feels like a societal created, just completely devoid of any feeling jargon fragrance. That's what it feels like to me. I absolutely despise this stuff, in case I haven't made it clear enough. In case you were wondering if I give a rating to this, I can't give a negative rating, but I can say that Bleu de Chanel Parfum, for me, is a complete flop, fail, especially from a beautiful house like Chanel, who makes, they have multiple fragrances in my top 10. If you've been following my channel, you know I did a top 100 countdown. It's my most popular video. It's my most viewed video by far. And Chanel had multiple fragrances in my top 10. They had Cuir de Russie, EDT, which is discontinued now. They still do the EDP, but it's different. It's a little bit more floral. And they have Antaeus. So for a house that has multiple fragrances in my top 10, to come out with something like this is just, it's disheartening. It's sad. It's really sad. It's a sad state of affairs. And, if you're new to fragrance, and let's just say you've gotten your nose on designer fragrances for 3 or 4 years, and that's all you've ever smelled, you might think, what in the world is wrong with this guy? He's a complete asshole. And, once you smell what else was out there, once you get to know the classic Guerlains, like today I did a video on Jacques Guerlain and Amy Guerlain, the creators of some of the most beautiful fragrances of all time: Shalimar, Mitsuko, Val de Nuit, Mouchoir de Monsieur, Jiki, those kind of fragrances. Once you smell the history of perfume, once you smell the risks that were taken in the 80s, the freedom of the 70s, Lagerfeld Cologne, Derrick, once you smell those kind of compositions, Givenchy Gentleman EDT from 74, there is no way you would, if you had that kind of experience, there's no way you would then smell this and go, wow, this is just amazing. I mean, not unless you just lost a screw. Bleu de Chanel is a commercial success, but it's a complete flop as far as art form goes in perfumery, period. There's no getting around it. It is just, it's everything I hate about the modern perfume industry, including that. That's the sound of Bleu de Chanel for me, that disgusting wheezing sound. And I can't think of how else I can be harder on the fragrance, so I'll end it there and just say that Bleu de Chanel, if you love this fragrance, continue wearing it. I'm not telling you to stop wearing it. I'm not telling you even to stop loving it, okay? I'm just telling you that use it as a stepping stone. Understand that this is nothing but a starter fragrance. If you're getting into perfume, use this as a stepping stone to then go to the next thing. Get a modern bottle of Heritage, the Eau de Parfum if you want. I prefer the Eau de Toilette, but the Eau de Parfum might be a little bit more palatable, let's say, to new noses. Get just a modern bottle of the Eau de Parfum of Heritage. It'll cost you $50 and compare the two. And, come back. If you're offended by this, before you leave a comment bashing me, get a bottle of Heritage and come back and tell me if in 30 years the fragrance industry has evolved or devolved. Has it evolved or devolved? Tell me what your thoughts are after you smelled Heritage, or after you smelled YSL Jazz, or Koros, or Antaeus. Those fragrances with soul. You know what I mean? Those fragrances that stood for something. This stands for nothing but dollars. I promise you, if someone who ran Chanel ran it for the love of perfume, this right here would get tossed. It would get nixed, completely axed. Like, people should not be walking around smelling like that. If I had to wear this all day, I would be depressed. Literally. I mean, I would be depressed. It's that bad. It's literally that bad. It's a complete thumbs down. Most stuff on my channel, go watch my channel. Most of the stuff that I talk about, I'm not bashing it to this extent, but this touches so many levels, so many problems, that the fragrance industry is currently facing. And I think it's due to compositions like this. And it's due to the fact that this composition is 99.9% synthetic to my nose. It smells like there's not a natural ingredient in there. Even if they use the most beautiful lavender, you can't smell it because it's just drowned out by all of the, it's like they have the synthetics on. It's like when you have your bass turned all the way up in your car. You can't really hear anything else, Can't hear the drums, can't hear the background vocals, guitar. You just hear that bass, right? The synthetics, the ambroxan, and even though this doesn't have the throw of the EDT, it's still just, oh God, it's just, I'm mad I have to wear this for another hour before bed. It's that bad. So Olivier Polge is one of my favorite perfumers, okay? So again, this is not a knock on him. He's a person who has to do what the people that run Chanel tell him to do. I mean, yes, he's a perfumer, but he doesn't have the freedom to write his own briefs. Like, I did an interview with the woman Liz Moores who runs Salome, and these fragrances, by the way, just get better and better with age. Anubis especially. I mean, Anubis has really grown on me. I think it's even overtaken Salome as my favorite Papillon fragrance, and that's really saying something. God. And, she gets to write her own briefs. She's not beholden to anyone. Olivier Polge doesn't have that freedom that an independent perfumer has. So how does Chanel decide what lives and what gets nixed? By our dollars. It's us, the public. It's us, the public, that's going out there spending our money. They're keeping what's being sold. So if you have a society of people that are basically ignorant to the perfume notes and compositions and accords and this, that, or whatever, and they're just buying this crap over and over and over again, because marketing tells them to, because Chanel makes more money when they buy this than a composition that costs them more to make or whatever it is. You know, we're going to get more and more and more crap. It's just the way it is. And we're in this vicious cycle right now. And I think the only way to get out of it is for the perfume public, the perfume consuming public, that's us, that's you if you're watching this, to stop buying this crap. Stop it. Stop voting with your dollars for these houses. The only way they're going to change is when they're not selling anymore. And that's my plea. So make me president of the fragrance world, and I will fix all your problems. But anyways, I will be doing a review of Elysium soon, which is Roja's take on Bleu de Chanel, in my opinion, and maybe a little bit of Aventus thrown in. It's his blue fragrance, if you will, that he charges 5 times what Chanel charges. Again, would never own a bottle of this, but I do want to talk about it. So anyways, Bleu de Chanel Parfum review, a first impression, early impression in the books. Oh, it's so bad. Anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you either found this video humorous, or if you agree or disagree with me, please leave it in the comments. I am not going to be offended if you disagree with what I said here. So, but I do love seeing your faces in the comments, so leave your thoughts below. Cheers, guys, and I'll see you again tomorrow with another video. Bye now.